Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Final Circle, your one-stop shop for everything going on in Series E and the Apex Legends community as a whole. I'm your host, as always, Y4SO, excited to be here once again. And I want to break down just what Series E is for everybody at home. Now, Series E is a professional Apex Legends open circuit that absolutely anyone can join. We have 9 teams that qualified either through our open qualifiers prior to the season or based on their placing in Season 2 of Series E. Now, all of those players have now been drafted and signed by our 9 different partnered brands. Each of those players now makes $750 a month salary, as well as competes weekly for points and prize money every Tuesday night against other open squads like they used to be themselves, and then every single Wednesday against some of the top pros from all across North America. If you and your squad want to get in on the action, head over to matcherino.com/ESA today for a shot at being a future Series E Pro. Now, for our weekly schedule on that front, it's very simple. Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, as I mentioned, we are live right here at twitch.tv/esportsarena at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Don't miss out on any of the action. And also here for Final Circle, for your recaps of every single week, we're live at 5 p.m. Pacific every single Friday. Now you're covered and ready to go for all the fun. Now let's move on to what happened in Series E this week. We actually were able to get our first official night of open night competition this past Tuesday. As obviously you may well know, we ran an arenas tournament last week. But our first competition of open night on World's Edge started this Tuesday with 11 open squads competing against our 9 partner teams that you can see up on your screen right now. The one to keep an eye on was certainly Y4SO. They had an impressive performance in the arenas tournament last week and were very confident coming into this week's competition. Team Intel and Team Razor were looking to carry some momentum from great performances last Wednesday, and it all clashed here on Tuesday night. Let's see how the action shook out.
The knock onto him, and it looks like Team Y4SO are in the most dominant position here, picking up kills, knocks left and right, has a Kraber to work with, and there it is, the heady to take out Protectful. We're now down to our final 2 squads, and Team Y4SO are looking so dominant here in game number 1. Another connect with that Kraber. Aj is feeling himself. Here comes the Rockstars as well. And Team Y4SO are going to have a massive game number 1 after they finish off Team
amazing shot
with that Kraber.
Oh, that was
Team
absolutely
Y4SO.
nasty.
Oh, wait, Team Intel
Oh, and
actually
here's
are
your Team
down
Intel.
a train. They're all the way over by Tree Thermal Station Connector, and they picked
Oh my
up the
God.
3. That Aftermath that are left here as a duo doing some decent damage. As you can see, Cruisin was brought down to about 60 HP. Here comes the port play out from Protectful just to set up another angle for them to get right on top of them. He'll be able to back off if he wants to. Eva 8, and he goes down, bringing this one down to a 2v2. They have the instant thirst as well. The triple take, though, getting the knock, and now they're going to push forward with the bubble to finish this one off, but this one's much closer than it really had to be. It's a 2v2, some nobodies versus Aftermath. The HP advantage going over to some nobodies now, as they do get that bat off for Prideful. They're just going to play Ring Around the Rosie here, trying to buy time for this defensive bombardment, but the Eva 8 shots are connecting. They lose out on 1. It's down to a 1v1, and Cruisin will clutch up for some nobodies. Time is starting to run out, and looks like they're just going to avoid this fight now. Rockstar, though, finally taking it to the squad. It's going to be Prideful going down. Protectful will fall. Kimchi Lee will flatten them down, and they'll be able to get... Are happy, I guess, to be in this position, because now it's Intel that are in this kind of 4-patty sandwich. Good Skittles coming in with that. Shots
We might
on
actually be
to
able to take
Nano.
this fight. Oh, but they are getting third party from behind.
Yeah, third party with Razor coming in. We know that there's another squad to the north, so it's a 4-team affair inside this tunnel. But Team Razor are coming up with the flank. They've got a lot of cover to work off of as well. As you can see, Team Y4SO getting that kill onto Verhulst, and Intel almost getting knocked out now. They find another kill onto Decoys, and Dupe will be finished off. So Intel are out. Here's Team Razor coming in for the ultimate third party Inos to fall. Applejack's losing out on 1. They do trade back, and Razor helps them out throughout all of this as Pop-Tarts comes in. So never mind, Pop-Tarts were still alive, but the defensive bombardment of damage is laying across them. Lion's the only one up as he's trying to hold the line, but he will ultimately fall, and it's going to be Razor that come in for the win here in game number 4. Coming out for them. Here's Team Pringles going for another try onto Team Pop-Tarts. The knock onto Z Davis once again, and ultimately Team Pringles will finally get the 3 kill points that they wanted off this squad. Here comes the third party attempt by Clone Force 32, and they're full sending it into these, thinking that maybe there was a lot more damage there, but they've actually done more damage to themselves. The turnaround coming out now is, oh boy, that jump pad wasn't the greatest, and Decoys will not go out safely.
Yeah, you really have to be careful when you use jump pads, especially in higher skill lobbies like this, because that just makes you an open target. And it looks like Pringles here, even though they weren't fully healed off the last fight, they might have the advantage here. And they finished the fight easy.
Verhulst is doing such a good job of trying to keep Pringles at bay, but now it's Pringles' turn to turn on the aggression. They got a knock onto one, and they're just going to go ahead and full send it to finish it off. Hakulo is trying his best to survive just underneath behind of his team, and somehow Team Intel, they go down. Team Pringles will be able to finish this one off, and they'll take game number 5.
They're just bullying them all, knowing that they have only 2 minutes to move. Oh, it looks like they are moving out, but what cover do they have out there? Why did they leave so early?
Bubble's been used, but they're just fighting inside right now. Rice Krispies picking up the majority of that, and the Surus will get one off the tail end. Oh, what a beautiful spray down. Nano does answer back, taking out Clinical, brings this down to a 2v2. Nebusona on just a sliver of HP, and Lightstar Joe will fall. Asura started off with game number 1 win, and they will take the final win of the day.
Tuesday night was certainly action-packed. It was awesome to kick off Rockstar Week with a ton of great games, and Team Razor ends up coming out on top with the win. Team Rockstar, playing during their sponsored week, had a bit of a rough start to the competition, but finished strong, coming in 2nd place ahead of that squad I mentioned earlier, Y4SO, in their first official open night, coming in 3rd place. Definitely a team you're going to want to keep an eye on throughout this season during our open night competitions. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Team Razor. They've been very strong here at the start of the season, and a lot of that is off of the back of Mr. Hakulo. He's won 2 straight Slayer titles, which means he had the most kills in both Season 1 and Season 2 of Series E, and he's trying to do the same thing here this season. Looking back at his Tuesday night performance, he had 22 kills, 12 assists, and averaged just below 1,700 damage per game. His team finished with an average placement of 3.6 throughout the entire night. That is an incredibly strong showing from Team Razor, and again, still largely off of the back of Mr. Hakulo. You can see his kill participation on your screen, 77% of the kills that Team Razor grabbed that night, he either had a kill or an assist on. Mr. Hakulo is certainly one of the early favorites for an MVP this season and currently leads in our Slayer standings. It's still very early, only 3 official nights of competition, but with 2 strong seasons on Team Razor already under his belt, Mr. Hakulo is definitely a player you always want to be watching during Series E. Now going into Wednesday night, Team Razor was once again trying to carry some strong momentum. They looked good last Wednesday, obviously took first place in open night this week, and we're looking to make it a 3rd strong performance in a row. Meanwhile, G2 Esports, who looked very good closing out last Wednesday night, were trying to make it a repeat performance here on their 2nd pro night of the season. Other squads like TSM, CLG, and Team Liquid were looking to make a dent as well, while Team Pringles, a team that has kind of struggled so far here early on in the season, was really starting to establish themselves and trying to get their first solid performance turned in for Season 3. Let's see how the action broke down on Wednesday night.
Welcome back for another Series E Apex Legends week, and I'm bringing the energy because it's Rockstar week. Collapse is coming in, coming out of G2. Can they win this gunfight?
They're going to be able to push this here. G2 great at playing the edge, but with Designful knocked, things get a lot trickier here. Eva going to be able to finish and find one more KP, but they still need to finish off this squad as Renegades stand between them and safe positioning for Cloud9, who are looking for a way in, playing around the door right now. It looks a little bit silly, I'll be honest, but hey, it's working, Tony.
Eva coming in, beautiful shots, Mike
From the sky!
4 squads remaining and 9 KP coming out of Stunny, but he's going to be taken down, leaving our Gibby player by himself, and the damage is coming in. He's trying to use his teammate's shield. He's got Valkyrie's flying all over the place. He's trying to hit his shot, and Valkyrie going to be taken out. Great Octane Gibby combination going up against Octane Gibby and Bloodhound. The scan's going to be coming in favor of Era. So are the nades are flying out. 2 players currently having red shields. It looks like they want to up their tempo. Octane going to be taken down. So now we have a 3v2. Gibby currently having gold shields, but he's able to put down some damage as well with his R301. Can Era take advantage of these numbers? The collapse is coming in, Dia.
They might be able to do it here, actually. Era still have all 3 members up, and G2 have lost all but one, and it's the last one falls. See who they're pushing, because more than likely you are gone with an EVA 8, an alternator, and a Volt all coming at you. This is going to be tough.
I'm a big fan of that alternator in the early game, and clearly so is Gold, and he puts down some beautiful damage, absolutely cracking that player, finally getting up and at it. All 3 players of Cheez-It currently alive, and CLT have lost their Octane, so Gibby's gonna be losing all of his shields and most of his health. Now so is Bloodhound. Bloodhound gonna be at
Flash, and they've got a whole lot of ways to get more on that as well, but we stop that and we start talking about some other squads who are already in gunfights. As Razor, they're gatekeeping the team from earlier here. It doesn't seem like Team Rockstar getting out without a fight. They got a target on. Oh, Exit, I think that the biggest thing for them right now is keeping their eyes on the squad they know is above them. They're making this push happen first, and I like it. We'll see if it works out. Klein drops down, but now we get to see the mechanics really on point. As even Rambo, you see this sort of rotation that they're doing right now. It's benefiting them a lot with information, with damage, and with the grenades following it up. Should be kills as well.
Trying to actually, I think they're gonna drop. I think they're ready to drop. I know they're not. They can't wait for the ultimate bombardment. Eventually, to drop and make Cloud9 pay for holding that high ground, and there it is. Cloud9 putting down the damage with that Eva, but Gibby goes down. Octane gonna lose his shield and his health. Definitely Bloodhound by himself is putting down the damage. Can Bloodhound come out on top in his gunfight? Oh, what?
Rambo almost managed to pull it out there, but Clasher, not really a whole lot of places to go that don't burn you when you touch them. It's a rough spot to be in, and already you can see that they're being taken down with Team Rockstar pushing down. They've lost 1 member, but they might be able to finish out this fight.
No. Oh no, but they lost 2 members. That was like actually a 1v1 situation, and Splash coming in and laying down the law. And look at that crypto player go. Actually, just all the carnage all over the place. Our kill leader is gonna be Malice Mamba coming out of Nestle's Splash.
Still on the hunt for this Gibby as well. No mercy here. Pringles are playing this really, really smart, though. I like what they've got going on, because you see that push and you go, something else is going on here. This is not the end of it. It's not a white shield Octane coming. It's so much more. They back up and they're actually able to take the fight against TSM. Now, will they win it? That's a different story, because it's Fury left alive. He's the one that's got to clutch this out, but the bodies are being played so perfectly that it's so hard to find that ult coming in, and it's going to be G2 on the hunt once again, looking for the picks off from this high ground. They've got so much space to play with, and look at this. This is a fish in a barrel. This is taking out. Gentrifying, swapping out the weapons. Doesn't need that Kraber anymore. Now it's going to be all about that close range battle. Team Razor lose 1. Are they going to lose another? They're looking for the KP beforehand, but Intel is absorbing all of that, and Hakuto, the last one left alive, is going to fall. 3 squads remain. Take us home, Tony.
If you don't understand why a Gibby is so important, it's right here, right now. The ultimate comes in and puts down damage. We have our final 2 squads, and our raid player putting in the damage with the flatline, but our Octane's gonna go down to Eva, putting down damage in the bubble fight, and that's gonna be it. G2 on
northeastern side, and the more that it pulls us that way, the more that G2 are given an edge spot, the better it is for them. Cheez-It, though, are already in a fight. Once again, we've seen this story time and time again, and Cheez-It, if they think they're winning it, chances are they're winning it. They're being served to. Remember, last time we had this situation, Splash came in from the side, and with the stick here, it's softening everybody up. Crummy ends up going down. RK could actually find this fight, but with only 1 member remaining, I'm not sure they're going to be able to clutch it out, because Kimchi, he's on the hunt.
That was a beautiful stick, but Rockstar still putting down the intel, rotating late. 41 seconds, and round 6 is going to be closing it.
They're just pushing this. Pringles are full sending it. They're looking for their first win. 3 members strong. The shotgun not quite connecting means that Fury falls first, and it's up to Phony and Fearless to pull this out, let alone just Fearless here, who can't connect just quite and takes long enough. Could just be the thing that wins you the fight.
Cheez-It still having 2 players currently with white shield, but one does have the purple. Not gonna matter. They're ready for this gunfight. The shots come in and they're looking good. Here it goes. Cheez-It's able to win that battle, doing it quick, and we have
Who actually wins this game based on the points is very up in the air. But Liquid, they're trying to get as many points as possible, and that starts with taking down Gildersons. Maybe even finding a few more kills as both bubbles go down. But Crook is going to fall, and the Knights are going to be wiped off of World's Edge. At low ground are waiting for the fight to come to them. They're ready, but Cloud9, they're taking it to TSM. Will they win the fight? Only Snipe Down is left alive, and he's got a shotgun in his back, but he manages to clutch it out, finding that last knock.
Teams available at the moment, but I love watching some of the best duke it out. The final 3, we have TSM and Liquid right next to each other. TSM looking good with that height advantage, and Liquid trying to get over to it, but Nocturnal gonna lose everything, and that's gonna be it. Nocturnal ends up going down, but Liquid still looking good. Only 2 squads remaining. We have a 2v3 situation going up against TSM, make that 2v2, and that's gonna be it.
Week Pro Night, because we've got those Mobile 1 leaderboards ready to go. We're ready to find out who your champions were after 5 hard-fought games.
And there it is. G saw them in the chat. They were claiming the throne. G2.
Oh my lord.
Stealing the entire tournament away. Right behind them was Era. 48, only 2 points behind them before.
Now, Wednesday was crazy fun and crazy close. G2 Esports come out with the back-to-back Pro Night victories here with just a 2-point lead at the end of the night over Era Eternity. And Era, a team that honestly a lot of folks have fairly low expectations for. They lost one of their most consistent members, dropping GS Bird recently, but the third that competed with them on Wednesday night, Oxy, looked good. They were able to get a win under their belt and kept things tight. And interestingly enough, for a Pro Night, a 50-point win is a very low margin. We typically see Pro Nights up into the high 60s to low 70s at the very least. So you can tell with how close it was at the top of the standings with Intel, Pringles, and TSM in the running, that it was a very closely contested competition here on Wednesday night. Team Intel continuing to rack up points, and Pringles delivering on that first solid performance that we were looking for. But we have to talk more about G2 Esports. This is a squad that I ranked number 3 in my Pro Team power rankings coming into this season, and they're certainly delivering on it and maybe saying that I should have had them ranked higher. The only 2 squads I had ahead of them were TSM and Cloud9, who have to an extent underachieved so far this season. TSM not quite as much, coming in 5th this week. C9, bit of a rough go through the first 2 weeks, but hopefully starting to get things going. But let's focus on G2 Esports. Up on your screen right now, you can see their cumulative stats from the 2 Pro Nights that they have played so far this season. A total of 73 kills and an average placement of 7.7. Now that 7.7 average placement comes to us with 6 top 3 placings in the 11 games they've played this season, and 3 of those top 3s are wins. So if G2 can get into the final 3 teams in these Pro Night lobbies, they have a coin flips chance at winning the game with the way they've showed up so far. And you look at that average team damage per game, 2,800 is a solid mark and largely led by Designful. He has 33 of the team's 73 total kills. He has been a big leader for them on both Pro Nights so far and is a big reason why G2 Esports is looking like an absolute juggernaut and have been so far the kings of Pro Nights. Now let's look at our cumulative standings for our partnered squads here after 2 weeks of competition. They got their first Pro Night under their belt, they got their first Open Night under their belt, then 2 Pro Nights as well. Team Razor with their strong performance Tuesday and still racking up some points on Wednesday, sit in first place right now, but their lead is minimal, just 10 points ahead of a Team Intel squad that has been, I would say, the most consistent squad through the first 2 weeks of competition. Meanwhile, Team Pringles just getting into that top 4 along with a Team Rockstar. Meanwhile, Pop-Tarts sitting in 5th, looking to really get a good performance out. They've been consistently putting up points but haven't broken into that next level quite yet, but it is still early on in the season for them to make some moves. Meanwhile, my biggest disappointment so far early this season has been Team Rice Krispies Treats. I had them ranked 7th in my power rankings going into this season, and it seemed like just a handful of mistakes have punished them and kept them away from wins that I feel like they would have deserved. Team RKT still has a very high ceiling and a lot of potential that I truly believe in, but their performance through the first 2 weeks of the season has been disappointing, to say the least. Now, with this week all wrapped up, no more Rockstar Week, we move on to Pringles Week for week number 3 of Series E Season 3. And when we look at that competition, it's going to be a very interesting couple of nights. I think Team Pringles is finally starting to get their legs under them in this season. They've had an inconsistent roster so far, as either Phony or Presley have not been available to play on a couple of occasions. But they should have the full roster together for next week's competition, and I'm going to pick Team Pringles to perform on Tuesday night. I think they are really starting to get rolling, and they're my pick to win on Open Night. As we go into Wednesday, I want to talk about one of the teams that is just lying in wait. They finished in 5th place in this past week's Open Night, and that is TSM. Hal and the boys are always a strong contender, and it seems like they are just on the cusp of taking over once again. Hal is not going to feel good about G2 taking away their throne that they held so long during Season 2 of Series E, and I think TSM will come out with a force this Wednesday night. So Team Pringles and TSM, 2 teams to keep an eye on in Season 3. Now it's time for one of my favorite segments of the show, and it's What's Up Apex Twitter, where I get to break down what the community is talking about on a week-to-week basis. Now, I know everybody is going to be talking about the new season of ALGS, as well as the coming changes for the next season of Apex Legends, but we'll break that down more in competitive and Apex news later. One thing I do want to talk about here, though, is our good friend Blueberry Smalls. He is a competitor in Series E, signed on Team Applejacks, and he is hosting his second tournament, the Fruit Bowl, this Sunday, the 25th. Now, it starts at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and we just wanted to show some love to our good friend Blueberry Smalls. Should be a fun tournament. There are a ton of representatives from Series E competing as well. Different captains include Nemu Sona from Team Rice Krispies Treats, Z Davis of Team Pop-Tarts, Blueberry Smalls' teammate, 00 Negative, and even some former pros as well as Stomps and Rakanishu will have their own teams. We just want to encourage people to support our pros, and we're certainly excited for the tournament here. If you guys want to see all the action, again, it's this Sunday, July 25th at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Just head over to twitch.tv/Blueberry Smalls to see all the action. Hope you guys have a good time and enjoy the show there, Blueberry. Now it's time for some competitive Apex Legends news, and we have finally got an announcement on the new season of ALGS. The format has changed a little bit, but it looks like some very cool adjustments to the format will allow for some awesome competition for the second year of ALGS. You can see a graphic for the new format of ALGS on your screen right now, and what we will see this season is the formation of regional pro leagues all across the world. These pro leagues will consist of 20 invited teams and then 20 squads that will qualify through preseason qualifiers. Then players will compete through those and qualify for 2 different split playoffs throughout the year. Each of those split playoffs will have $1 million prize pools that all of our players will be competing for. There also is going to be a challenger series for pros to compete and try and qualify into future splits of the pro leagues. One of the most interesting developments, though, is the fact that console players will be invited into ALGS. Now, these players will have to play on PC value aim assist settings, so it won't be the same as when they play on console at home, so it will be an interesting adjustment for those players, but it has had a mixed reaction from pros across the community. I'm curious what you guys are thinking about console players coming into the fold. But overall, it's a very exciting development. Next year's ALGS will have a $5 million prize pool overall. We will see a return to LAN events that so many players have been excited for so many months. And obviously, the ALGS championships for next year will include the 40 best teams from all across the world competing for a share of $2 million. The return to LAN could not be coming any sooner, and the new format for ALGS is extremely exciting. Tons of teams will be competing, tons of money will be up for grabs, and bragging rights for so many squads. We certainly are looking forward to it here at Esports Arena. Now, in more general Apex news, I hinted at it earlier, but there are a ton of changes coming for the new season of Apex Legends. One of the first ones is going to be ranked arenas coming to Apex. Arenas has been gaining a ton of traction since its release at the start of Season 9, and with a couple of professional tournaments over the last few weeks, players are really starting to get into the mode. Part of the release for this new season, we will see 3 new maps coming to arenas based on POIs on our 3 BR maps. Should be very fun to play. The new system will involve ranks similar to the way it works in BR, as well as an invisible MMR system for matching you up with your opponents. Wins and advancement will be what is most important, not necessarily kills in your performance in the game. Grab that dub and climb and try to get up to Predator in the new Arenas ranked mode. Now, as we look to ranked for Battle Royale, a lot of players are very disappointed as there will be no significant changes to the ranking system in the next season. Players have been hoping for some adjustments to discourage griefing and other issues that have plagued rank over the last couple of seasons. We'll have to see if this is something that Respawn is just continuing to workshop, but I will say that it has seemed like they have been listening to the community a lot and just may not have changes ready to ship this season. It'll definitely be something we're keeping an eye on. But with the new season, we will see a couple of adjustments in the form of the maps. Olympus will head away for ranked Q in the first split as we return to World's Edge. The second split of the next season will be a return to King's Canyon. So World's Edge and King's Canyon for the new ranked season to, again, try and chase that Predator ranking. I wonder if any of you are excited as I am to be going back to King's Canyon for ranked. Now, finally, the biggest piece of news is most likely the new legend, Seer, coming to Apex Legends this season. We've gotten more details thanks to the EA Play Live conference on what this legend is going to look like. Seer is going to be a lot like Bloodhound, a recon champion based in tracking other players. The passive for Seer is a heartbeat sensor that gives hints to the players while aimed down sights as to where enemies may be. His tactical uses a few drones to try and track nearby players, and his ultimate sends out 100 drones in a set area to track quick-moving players in the area. Now, the one interesting hint we got is that moving slowly, crouching and moving around within this space as an enemy player will keep you invisible to Seer's ultimate. So, his ultimate in these constricted POIs and in late game circles will create some very interesting gameplay moments. I'm certainly very excited to get a hold of the new legend this season and curious to see how it affects competitive play. There's been so much talk over the last few weeks and months about just how prevalent Bloodhound continues to be in the competitive scene. Does Seer just come in and completely replace Bloodhound? Is Bloodhound still just too strong to be pushed out of the meta? It'll be interesting to see how this new legend affects everything going on in the competitive scene, but we're certainly looking forward to getting a hold of him. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for Final Circle, your one-stop shop for everything going on in Series E and the Apex Legends community as a whole. Don't miss out on our shows this coming week. It's Pringles Week kicking off on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time and then Wednesday at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Final Circle will be back once again next Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific as well, right here at twitch.tv/esportsarena. If you guys want some input, want to ask me some questions and promote the discussion for What's Up Apex Twitter, make sure to hit me up on Twitter at Y4SO, and I'll see you guys next week. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials. It's been an absolute blast to see you guys again. Have a good one.
Refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top fresh flavored splash.
It's fruit freshin'.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Hey, shake it, kiddo.
Love that. Oh.
I've got this. Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. A little love when it's needed.
Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws. They're Jumbo.
Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go. Cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Go take them on the go.
It's Jumbo. It's for snacking. It's Jumbo Snacks.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. They love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything.
Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack.
Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles! We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen and I didn't listen.
Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.